Hi, we're going to talk about the major scale. Okay? I think one of the easiest ways to talk about the major scale is to use one of the easiest scales that maybe you already know. It's called the C major scale. In the treble clef, C major scale is composed of these notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and if you go to another octave C, it's here. A major scale has a certain pattern of whole steps and half steps. You can see between the C and D is a whole step, D and E, whole step, E and F, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and finally a half step. So it's these two half steps that sort of give the major scale its characteristic, where this half step is. A half step between, if we number the notes of the scale, there's a half step between the third and fourth note, and a half step between the seventh and eighth note of the scale. And that's a particular way that major scales are made up. Now, it would be kind of a pain, because there being 12 notes in our octave, there'd be kind of a pain to be able to figure that out for all 12 notes. It's much easier to know your major scales, almost like you know your multiplication tables. When you talk about knowing what's 4 times 3, Derek, do you know what 4 times 3 is? Well,
16?
No. Instead of thinking what's 4 times 3, if you saw 4 times 3, do you really think, okay, 3 times 4 plus 4 plus 4, oh yeah, that's 12. That's a long way of knowing 4 times 3. Really, the best way to know your multiplication tables is to memorize it. 4 times 3 is 12. I mean, you just know 4 times 3 is 12. In the same way, you should just kind of know the major scales almost by memory. Because figuring it out with whole steps and half steps just takes way too long. And so one exercise that you can do on your own, and maybe it's one of your assignments, I'm not sure, and that is to just practice writing out all the major scales. I believe for this class, we only use certain keys for the major scales. C, C sharp, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, and if we want to talk about C flat. These are the 12 scales that we'll talk about. And you should get to the point where you can just write these scales out as, you know, in a short period of time. If I was going to do this myself, here's how long it would take me. And with chalk, it takes a while. Am I really thinking about whole steps and half steps? Not really. My hand is starting to cramp.
As you can see, it's really starting to cramp.
Okay. If you can beat me, then you know your major scales pretty good. If you can do it faster than I just did. But this is the information that you just kind of know by memory. I didn't figure this out by whole steps and half steps. Now first I might have, but you have to get to the point where you could write your major scales this quickly. Some of them are very easy. C has no sharps or flats. C flat, everything is flat. And C sharp, everything is sharp. And so you could figure some of these out that way. G flat has everything flat except for the last note, F. And the rest you kind of get from memory on your own. As far as major scales, that's where you need to get, is where you can write them and know the notes of the major scales this quickly. Thank you.